We're not crazy. Okay?
Yeah.
We're beautiful human beings.
Well, you're the president, so I have to be shorter
I
than
could
you.
go on my tiptoes, but then no.
Westarctica,
Land of the brave and free. Where all my dreams will be, waiting for thee.
For thee. Hi, I'm Dylan, and this is Not Exactly Normal. Today I'm at a conference hosted by the United Slabovian Empire, which, if you haven't heard of, you're not alone. This nation exists solely under the feet of its citizens. This is MicroCon, a convention for micronations. These are tiny nations, often ruled over and occupied by as little as a single occupant. Micronations, according to the various technocrats, monarchs, and presidents here, exist to make your dreams a reality, as long as those dreams are micro.
Good morning, everybody. It is great to see you all here today. You know, at one time, this was just a dream. That dream has since become a reality. And because of you good people, you all helped to make it a reality. Go and be who you are meant to be. Make your dream a reality, because you can do it. That is all. Thank you.
That's the king of Amethonia, but I'll let his gracefulness introduce himself.
My name is Ernest Emmanuel von Brownburg, Amethonia.
I don't know if I can remember that. Ernest von Braun.
Ernest Emmanuel
Ernest Emmanuel.
von Brownburg,
Von Brownburg.
Amethonia.
Amethonia.
Yes.
That is quite a mouthful.
Yes, people just call me King Ernest Emmanuel for short.
Oh, just that. That's pretty tight.
Amethonia came to an existence about 8 years ago as a virtual kingdom, a virtual realm. And as time progressed on, opportunities came along to acquire land.
Was this through a purchase or at gunpoint?
This was through a purchase.
Okay. But let's back up. What exactly is a micronation? The modern concept of micronationality stems from a single micronation, and it's the one that inspired most of the people here. A little place called the Principality of Sealand.
In 1967, a British guy took over an abandoned naval fort that was built during World War II to establish a pirate radio station.
He's talking about Roy Bates, a major in the British Army who took over an abandoned naval fort off the coast of England to establish a pirate radio station to play the music that the BBC wouldn't.
The pirates, much to the horror of the BBC and the government, filled the airwaves with rock. With the assistance of an eager staff of DJs come deckhands, Roy Bates occupied an abandoned seaport in the Thames estuary, spent £45,000 of his own money, and created Britain's first 24-hour radio station, Radio Essex. In those heady days, the pirates ruled the airwaves and felt they were immune from attack, even by the British government.
The courts ended up ruling against his fort's occupation, and so on Christmas Eve 1966, Bates moved to another fort, which was further offshore, outside the UK's jurisdiction. But instead of launching another pirate radio station, he declared independence, and his free state, the Principality of Sealand.
The crucial part about it was that it was in genuinely international waters, and so he had at least a technically arguable claim to possess this fort.
Well, it's a very different day to the sort of day I would live in England, well, you get up, you have a normal routine. Instead of running a home, you run a fortress.
Fearing their own Cuba, the UK government began destroying the remaining unoccupied forts. But when they approached Sealand, they were met with fierce opposition. After the Prince of Sealand fired a warning shot off the platform, the so-called invaders turned tail back to the mainland. Following this, Prince Michael was brought before the British courts, and the judge ruled that, quote, this was a swashbuckling incident, and ultimately he decided that the UK courts held no jurisdiction, and so Sealand was made independent.
And from there, just a pretty remarkable series of adventures unfolded.
In the 1970s, the Prime Minister of Sealand actually got a gun and took over the Sealand platform and took the prince's son hostage, and the Prince of Sealand had to get together a few friends with real guns, storm the platform, and take him hostage. And actually, this led to a court case that sort of determined Sealand's sovereignty, because the British government said, we don't have authorization to go on that platform and get the person they're holding hostage back.
We were going to come back in a boat and try and scale the place in the dark. It was very difficult because, as you can see, we've fortified it and cut away anything people can climb up on, you know. So we had to come out the next morning at dawn with a helicopter, and we took the doors off the helicopter, slid down ropes about 100 feet above the sea because we couldn't land the helicopter, slid down ropes, no life jackets or anything, and landed on the top. And as we came down, they were running out of the building, and we got in amongst them, and you know, before they could organise themselves, I think they were debating whether to start shooting or anything. They were armed, of course. Anyway, we managed to get hold of the situation before it got any further.
The leader of the Dutch and German team was himself a Sealand passport holder, Gernot Putz. Still showing battle scars, Putz was tried for treason against Sealand, fined 75,000 Deutschmarks, and only released after 7 weeks' imprisonment.
While Sealand was lucky enough to have their own unclaimed fortress in international waters, the micronations it inspired weren't so lucky. But they haven't let that stop them.
So Westarctica is a micronation that was founded in 2001 when I discovered that a part of Antarctica had been unclaimed by any existing country. So I thought, well, the Antarctic Treaty prevents another country from claiming it, but it doesn't prevent an individual from claiming it. Right. So I wrote up a letter, sent it to the United Nations, and said, this part of Antarctica is mine.
Yeah, did you get a response?
No, of course not. I wish.
Yeah. Have you ever visited?
I have never visited there, but I have an open invitation from the Russian government to use their station that's in my country.
My name is Ben. President Benjamin T. Pickles of the Republic of Benjastan. It's a micronation in my bedroom. They're based in my bedroom. We have territory in Antarctica and on the northern hemisphere of Saturn.
All right. Not the lower hemisphere.
No.
I hear it's really bad there, the lower hemisphere of Saturn. It's really the worst part, don't you think? While Benjamin T. Pickles and the Grand Duke of Westarctica are duking it out over Antarctica, there is a micronation in Sweden that has had a bit more success with its sovereignty.
So the artist, Lars, began building a sculpture on the shores of Sweden in 1980. Lars was out swimming in the ocean, as Swedes are wont to do, and something happened and he almost drowned. He drove himself ashore. That was the spot where he came ashore. And to celebrate the fact that he didn't die, he started building a sculpture with what he had available, which was driftwood, and he just kept building and building. And for 2 years, he built this without anyone knowing. By the time they discovered it, it was 9 stories tall and about 75 tons of driftwood.
Wait, did I hear that right? It's 9 stories tall? Holy shit.
The Swedish government sued him and filed criminal charges, actually, and that dragged through the courts for over a decade. Sweden was unable to enforce their laws on that land, and the structures remain. So Lars declared that since Sweden could not enforce their laws on that land, it wasn't their land anymore, it was his. So he declared Ladonia independent in 1996.
While these sculptures of Ladonia tower over the barren nation, not all micronations are so physical. And where is Slabovia located?
We like to say it's in the hearts and minds of our citizens. The only ground that we claim is the ground under our feet and the sky above our heads.
So would I be standing in Slabovia right now?
You're standing on my foot, so yes.
Yeah, just invading your personal space, yeah.
Our landmass is actually only a small rock that can be carried around in this briefcase, the official state briefcase.
And do you have Obsidia with you?
Obsidia is over there.
Can we get her?
Yeah, we can go get it.
Do you want me to go get it?
Yeah. Go retrieve it.
I would love to see it. Whoa! That is amazing.
You can touch it.
Yeah. Ooh, I'm touching Obsidia. Why this rock in particular?
It's actually, the rock was selected at random. It really doesn't have any important purpose. It just serves as our land claim. To me, the land is meaningless because we actually don't believe in borders.
And so I noticed that the rock is 2 pieces. Mm-hmm. Is there strife between the smaller island and the larger island, or they get along?
No, they get along.
Alright, so micronations come in all shapes and sizes, but how do macronation governments respond to these micro-separatists?
We do interact with the state government of Nevada. We know the governor and so forth, and the state and the senators and all that.
Do they recognize your sovereignty?
I think they're really not sure what to do with us. But we hang around anyway, and they're like, oh, those guys. All right.
Those guys.
I mean, our nation has everything that a larger nation physically has it. It's not just sort of an idea. So we have our own post office as well as stamps. We have our own bank as well as money. We have our own phone system and so forth like that. So it's kind of a functioning country, but in a very small package, if you will.
Do you have a transit system?
Well, we would if it was big enough to warrant it. But 1.3 acres, and by the time you get onto something and off something, I could already walk there.
Well, at least one micronation, West 2, has some pretty powerful fans. Many of these micronations are quite established, and they have many of the things that macronations have. They have constitutions, flags, medals, corruption, politicians hanging on to power, and of course, national anthems. Catchy. The Micronation Community is an interesting mix of adults taking it really seriously, kids having fun, and like with many internet-based communities, trolls.
The annoying conflicts between micronations fall into three really specific categories: personal conflicts, fantasy conflicts, and conflicts born out of desperation for attention. Molossia receives declarations of war at a rate of 1 per month for the last 10 years.
I tend to describe micronational war as a toddler slap fight. Amusing to watch, but I'm not going to get involved.
Troll wars may be part of micronational conflict, but it's not the whole picture.
We are currently and perpetually at war with East Germany. Back in 1973, Fidel Castro gave a little island off the coast of Cuba to the nation of East Germany. That was not addressed in the Unification Treaty in 1990 between East and West Germany. Back in 1983, I was stationed with the United States Army in then West Germany, and as armies tended to do, they roused us in the middle of the night. One too many times, I was aggravated by being woken up in the middle of the night, so declared war on the nearest East Bloc country, which was East Germany. Forgot all about it until I discovered the war declaration in the Ministry of the Closet in the bedroom.
And how many people have died in this conflict?
Absolutely
Hundreds?
zero.
Oh, zero. I was thinking hundreds.
Yeah. Yes, she is a certified captain of sailing vessels,
yeah.
or is it all vessels?
It's all maritime vessels.
Okay.
Well, up to 50 tons.
So of all the nations here, you have the actual strongest military then. Do you have any rivalries with any other micronations?
So there's another micronation called the Grand Duchy of Flandrensis, and they had actually claimed our territory. And so we had a war with them, the Civil War, but actually we came through it, negotiated to recognize each other's claims, and now we have a great alliance. We're very close friends.
How many were killed?
Nobody killed, nobody injured, but injured pride all around.
All right, that's fair.
Somebody violated our sovereignty, so we declared war on them.
And how did they do that?
They sent troops really close to the Capitol. Like they were 2 blocks away from the Capitol building, which is also the palace, so we went to war with them.
Is that your house?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Going into the conference, I was expecting a sweaty room full of gun-toting libertarians with huge freedom boners. But it turns out that tax-hating militias aren't terribly interested in presentations on how to make your own medals.
So a few tips and tricks. What do you make your metal of? Well, usually it's actually ribbon, satin, or gross grain. I will tell you right now, use gross grain. It's just easier than satin. Satin is a pain to try to glue. The glue soaks right through and it looks ugly. It'd be really cool if somebody made a little metal that was little tiny chainmail links. That would be pretty awesome.
While there are a lot of cool ideas for better governance floating around here, the big reason that many of these rulers chose to rule was for the costumes. They wanted to call themselves kings and queens, dictators, bishops, dukes, and so on. So, King George, Dylan, nice to meet you. So you're the Grand Duke of Westarctica.
Westarctica, correct.
I am President Kevin Baugh of the Republic of Molossia.
And my official title is Grand Marshal Yagjian of the Ambulatory Free States of Obsidia.
I'm Carolyn, Queen of Ladonia.
Ladonia.
I'm Christopher I.
Christopher the First.
Yes, of the Grand Republic of Cycoldia.
Cyclovia. All hail the king.
Yeah, it's a little big, but...
No, it fits. You'll grow into it. So tell me about your little tiara you got on.
This is a laurel. This is both the official crown of Cycoldia. This is also the crown of the Order of Christopher I and the crown of the Order of Now.
If I touch the crown, do I then become the ruler?
No.
It's not like that? It's not a...
No.
It's not no take backs?
You can touch the crown.
Can I try it on?
Yeah.
In the Congress are my stuffed animals.
Okay.
Because they are always there.
Do you have any other rooms within your house that you want to move into that you can't? Have you laid claim?
We've tried.
Yeah.
But we were sanctioned by the international community, also known as my parents.
Oh, the typical international sanctions.
Yeah.
It's just difficult. You're worried about being voted out of office?
That'll never happen. It's actually in the Constitution that the monarchy cannot be the form of any kind of revision. So they're stuck with me for a while.
You're set.
I became king because I happened to own a Dracula cape.
Awesome. Of course, it doesn't hurt that many of these micronations offer knighthoods and lordships for a small fee of several $100s.
We have hundreds of nobles, because noble titles are available for purchase.
Yeah.
But we do have many ministers. Ministries are not a purchase thing. That's something you apply for.
Beyond the dress-up, however, there is a lot of good being done by micronations around the world.
We try our best to reach out to people in other lands who are less fortunate, truly less fortunate.
We promote women on waves. What they do is go to countries where abortion's illegal, and they take women on boats 12 miles out into international waters where they can have a legal, safe, effective medical abortion with pills.
We try to find causes that support freedom of expression, freedom of art, and just freedom in general.
You know, as one of the few unclaimed places on Earth, there's no existing nation that can advocate for the penguins and the seals and the whales and the melting ice shelves that exist down there.
Yeah.
So that's my job.
Yeah. I think I can do it better than the country I live in, than other countries, and that's what Benjastan is. It's a way to do better.
All right, I'm convinced. Sign me up. So how would I become a citizen?
Well, you really can't be a citizen of Molossia. It's a family nation. So
I'd have to marry in the family?
Yes, you would.
And you're spoken for.
Yeah, thanks for that, but yes, I am. But the chief constable, she's over there. She's available. You can talk to her. Well, not quite yet. She's only 15.
Yeah. And how does one become a citizen?
We have an online form that you can fill out.
And then I'd be able to move down to Nevada and live with you?
Once it's fully developed, you can if you like.
How do people become a citizen?
Because
I did touch the rock, you saw it, right?
Citizenship. Obsidia is a feminist country, and we have an egalitarian structure in our government, so nobody holds a higher authority than anyone else.
That's awesome.
That's awesome. And only women can serve in government.
So egalitarian, but only women. All right, well, if I can't join the cool one, I'm just going to make my own. All hail the king, which I guess is me, King Dylan of Normalia. Bow, you shits. One of the core tenets of my micronation is that the data and privacy of my citizens must be kept secure, which is why I've written it into the Constitution that all my citizens must use Dashlane, who sponsor this episode. Dashlane makes security and privacy online super easy yet secure. It's the only tool you need to stay safe online, and it's perfect for citizens of Normalia. Dashlane makes slow, annoying, or frustrating parts of using the internet faster and easier. It saves and autofills all of your passwords and login information on every website, so you never have to click Forgot Password ever again. Dashlane makes signing up for new sites super easy with its simple yet effective password generating tool. With the click of a button, Dashlane will generate a complex and unguessable password for you that it will store and autofill wherever you need. Same goes for updating old passwords. One click and you're good to go. Dashlane also makes checking out online a breeze by saving time and autofilling all of your personal information so you can fill out those tedious forms with the single click of a button. Even cooler is that Dashlane syncs all of this data across all of your devices. So even when you're killing time on your phone at a conference, you can speed through online checkouts, autofill passwords, and browse privately on unsecured hotel Wi-Fi networks. My favorite thing about Dashlane is that it's an all-in-one tool. You don't need to sign up for multiple services. With Dashlane, you're getting a password manager, VPN, and dark web monitoring for less than what just one of those services usually costs. Just follow the link in the description or go to dashlane.com/normal to try it out for free, and the first 200 people to use the promo code NORMAL will get 10% off premium. Where do you guys want me to go next? Please let me know in the comments, and be sure to subscribe for new episodes of Not Exactly Normal as often as I can make them. Thanks for watching.